Might as well get going. Everybody ready?
We ready?
Everybody ready? Start on. All right, welcome everybody. Glad to see you all. It's been a couple months. Been really good. This is the Caston Park Board, January 21st, 2025 meeting. Does anybody have any questions about the minutes from November? Nope. All right, I need a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and approval. Everybody for, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Thank you. All right, new business. Oath of office. Who's that?
So for John,
Oh.
you're renewing your term.
Okay. Okay.
Stand, raise your right hand and read the statement.
I, John Knudsen, do solemnly swear to affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of Park Board Member in the City of Casson in the State of Minnesota to the best of my judgment and ability.
All right, John, you know, we got you for another 3 years, right?
What's that?
Got you for another 3 years.
Yep.
Okay. All right, thanks. Thank you very much. It's great. All right. All right, next. Casson Aquatic Center.
Did everyone get the employee list? So that's our most current up-to-date employee list, with Patrick Treehey being our new manager this year. I think he'll be a pretty good fit for the aquatic center. He's been there since, you know, he started in the concessions at 14 and worked his way up. He's a really good guy. And then we got, you know, the 4 assistant managers, which sounds like we can make do with that many assistant managers. The only thing we're probably lacking on would be WSIs, which I am gonna send out emails to all the, returning lifeguards and just let them know, you know, I'll send them out the opportunities for WSI certification, let them know it's, you know, a $2 an hour raise if you are a WSI. I think a lot of them might bite on that. And then the other thing would be like the new wages. So minimum wage was $10.85 last year, and it went up to $11.13. So that's what our returning concession stands employees are being paid. And then I just did increments. You know, it was $13.50 for lifeguards. It's going to be $13.75. It was $15.50 for WSIs. It's going to be $15.75. Assistant managers was $16.75. It's going to be $17, and manager was $20.75. It's going to be $21. And last year we had our first year concessions at $9.75, which was that was actually above the training wage. So they're going to be $10 an hour this season.
Oh, okay.
Do you know if there are WSI classes available this winter at all?
There are. I got to look on the website that I have because they haven't quite released this year's stuff yet. But I always try to send, with my research the first year, I've got a whole list of websites and stuff for our staff to go on to and sign up for different classes. They're at different facilities and stuff, so they'll have options to get certified.
Is there any reimbursement for the
Yep,
cost of the class?
we still do the reimbursement at the end of the season. And like last year, I plan on having lifeguard certification and recertification at our facility, which might make it a little easier for staff members. And it also brings in, if there's not a ton, that, we'll get some kids from like Dodge Center who need to be
Oh, okay.
certified, so we can at least utilize our pool for more than just us.
Those assistant managers, are any of them WSI also?
Yes, they're all
Okay,
WSI.
so we have 7 WSI.
Yep,
8
yep.
technically, but, okay.
But with trying not to skip around too much, Patrick is gonna be gone probably the majority of the month of July, which is unfortunate for us, 'cause that's gonna be our busy month.
This month.
So that's where we're gonna have to rely on our assistant managers, and there go why I need more WSIs, so that we're not, you know.
Well, that was my question, is, I mean, just looking at, let's say we have 6 or 7,
Yep,
with one managing at the same time, you know,
Yep.
and they could do some training still in the pool, but,
yep.
does that support our schedule of lessons?
It will, if we get like right now, we're probably sitting fine, but I would like to see more WSIs for when Patrick's gone.
Sure.
'Cause I don't wanna push
It'd be nice to
those,
get like 2 or 3 more.
'cause all these assistant managers are new to assistant managing, you know, for this season. They've never done it before, so they're taking a pretty big step up in responsibilities. All of them have questions and want training, so that's kinda one of those things that we're gonna try to implement when we have our beginning of the year meeting. We're gonna try to do a little bit more hands-on training with assistant managers, and the lifeguards and so forth. The next thing was, Julia had reached out to me about helping Patrick transition into that manager role. Now, obviously, she's not gonna be doing it for free, so she would, you know, like to be paid. This is a discussion for us, what we wanna pay her, how we wanna do it, if we wanna do it at all, what's everyone's thought on
What
it.
year is Patrick in? Is he a senior?
Oh, he's in college.
Okay.
How long would she be needed for training?
You know, it would be more of a as-needed basis. She's not around all summer, so it's not like she's gonna be working full-time.
Okay.
It would probably be more of a,
On-call?
yes, on-call thing, like,
Well, how do you pay her if she's on call though, but this is,
well, I just think like at the beginning of the year, beginning of the season, she'd be around a lot more.
sure, I'm not saying don't do something, like if she has the first week or something like that, that'd probably be fine, but I don't know how you, I mean, you can't just say, well, you're, you know, on call doesn't work for this kind of work.
Right, no, I understand that.
Is she around to help at all in July?
No.
That's the
Which
problem, right, that'd be perfect.
which I reached out to her and asked her about, and unfortunately, she will not be around. So that kinda,
Mhm.
but I think it would be great if she was at least available, which she is, like that first month, to get everyone acclimated, whether it's, you know, Patrick or the new assistant managers, on how, you know, and they'll have their own ideas on how things operate, but she's been doing it, so she would know some of the quirks, I guess.
I think because the 4 assistant managers are brand new to this, I think we better make sure that we've got good training.
Yep.
So I think we should utilize her if we can, so that July is not a disaster.
Hopefully by July, they've kind of gotten rid of them.
Yeah, I would assume
Even
so.
if they didn't do a lot of training with her, at least by then, I would hope they would have kind of, if they don't, then we have problems, but, no, I mean, I don't know. The first week, I'd say she could do it with the, you know, with the manager, and then after that, I don't know. Depends on how much you think the assistant managers need extra from her, but Patrick, that's his job, he's gonna be the manager. I don't want there to be, my biggest concern is their confusion and chain of command, like, are they gonna go to her before they go to him?
No.
Especially if it's his first year. too.
And I think she's gonna be more of the behind the scenes. I don't think she's necessarily gonna be coming in, so I don't know how, you know, how do we record those hours? How do we pay her for that time?
Well, I think you just say, you know, you pick a number, say, okay, 10 hours a week or something like that, and then pay
Okay.
her for that, and make sure that you're getting 10 hours a week, and if it goes over that, then, I mean, we can talk about it, but.
Okay.
I mean, if that's what it's gonna be, if it's gonna be more like somebody for him to call and say, hey, I'm having a struggle with this, as opposed to calling you,
Right.
you know, because she's the one doing it, I mean, that would be maybe more like something along those lines, you know, as opposed to, because if she's not gonna come in and work at the pool, then yeah, we have to just pick a number and say, this is what we're gonna, up to this number and then not to exceed kind of, and then that's what you use it for. That's what I would do.
Right, that's something we should, do we wanna decide on that now? Do we wanna decide on 10 hours a week, or, you know, for that first month? And, you know, we can revise it, I guess, if need be, but,
Is she available to come in and work, say, side by side with him for that first week?
she would be, yes.
I think we should just have her come in for that first week, work with Patrick, and then that way Patrick can work with some of the assistant managers for the rest of the month to get them ready for July.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we know how Patrick feels? Does he?
Yep, so I talked to Patrick, and he is fully willing to have her come in. He wants there's some things that, you know, like Patrick talked with me, when I did their interviews, he talked with me, there's some things that he's like, I'm not comfortable with, you know, I didn't necessarily handle them all the time, where Julia took care of a lot of those things.
Perfect. Yeah, just making sure that he wants an assistant.
Yep, and I made sure before we went further with this, yep.
Well, I'd like to say, kind of same with Christine there, the first week, definitely have her.
Okay.
And then the second week, you know, hit and miss, if Patrick needs her, then,
Kind of let
Good.
her taper off
yeah.
and give Patrick the reins.
Mhm.
And
I
then,
imagine that she wouldn't be available for a really quick phone call and is gonna charge us
Right.
for that.
right.
Would she, I mean, I
And
can't
I
imagine
don't
that
think
she's
she
going-
would. Originally, when she reached out to me, it was about, like scheduling. If Patrick needed help with scheduling, she could do scheduling. Which that's, you know, kind of another thing we had talked about. It's kind of mass chaos when they schedule. I had talked with, Patrick, and he had asked about, you know, do we have an app, or can we get an app where it generates a schedule based off what, you know, so-and-so wants off, and it just generates a schedule, and it is what it is, and kids can switch on their own. And Ashley's gonna be working with me with my rec, because there's a lot of things that we haven't been utilizing with my rec, and that potentially could be one of the opportunities. Because it sounds like that's a really big undertaking for the manager to schedule like 60 people, you know.
Well, yeah, 'cause they gotta throw in vacations and everything that
Right.
they're around, so.
So that was originally kind of why Julia had reached out, because she was pretty fluent and able
Mhm.
to do that, and Patrick was a little uneasy about it and had mentioned that at the
Yep.
interview, so.
Is that done a week at a time?
I think it's quite a bit further in
I
advance.
think it's like a month.
Yeah,
So if she was there again, to help him with that scheduling. So that would be before the pool opens, so
right.
she'd have to meet with him, help him with that first schedule.
And hopefully, like I said, like my rec can assist us in that process as far as generating a schedule without it being so much of a demand as far as labor to get those people in there.
Anybody else? Any questions, any suggestions, any? Because if she's gonna have to come in for the first schedule, it's gonna be prior to the opening of the pool.
Right, so
So-
it would probably be around that time when we do the, all-staff meeting,
Okay,
you know, which is, and that, you know, the opening of the pool is gonna be another talk here in a minute, but, she's gonna be at that training or, you know, safety meeting before we open the pool for everyone, so
Mhm.
she can assist in the training of the staff.
okay, so we're kinda looking at maybe 2 weeks.
Right.
Week before pool opens, week after pool opens, make sure everything's going, and kind of be on a call thing.
You want us just to say like how many hours? Like, do we
Yeah,
say 40 hours? And,
40 hours in what
I
kind
mean,
of
in
time?
total?
In
Like in that
total?
in that first 2 weeks, if she can help out for 40 hours, maybe it's gonna be 30 before the pool opens and 10 after, or
Sure.
whatever they wanna do. 20 hours to get the schedule done, whether it's, you know, through a program or not.
Okay.
And then 20 to work side by side with him. I mean, he sounds, if he's in college, sounds like he's had plenty of experience at the pool. I don't think he
Yes,
should probably.
I think he'll do fine, I just think it's some of those behind-the-scene things that he
Right.
wasn't
Mhm.
necessarily comfortable with.
So I guess I'd make a motion that we authorize for her to have 40 hours divided up as seen fit for prior to opening and the first week of opening.
And in that motion, do you want to talk about pay?
Hey,
Do we want to pay her what?
I think we pay her the same as Patrick.
same as
Yeah, I
Patrick.
mean, if she's acting as a manager.
So 21, yep.
Can we say not to exceed 40 hours, so she can do less but not more?
I mean, I think that's at
Okay.
the discretion of our,
Yeah.
park supervisor. If you feel like it's necessary that she does more, Ben, I mean, we don't want to tie her hands on if it's a few hours over, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with saying no more
Hopefully it's
than
not many more than that.
40 hours, because I think she should be able to assist in that. But I think us as a group should, if she was 41 hours, I mean, I'm not going to
That's
sit
not
here and turn
gonna-
her down for,
no. Even up to 45 or something like
Yeah,
that, as
so
far as
I
I'm
think-
concerned, it'd be fine.
I think it's fair to say 40 hours,
Mhm.
and just let her know if that's where we want to be, at $21 an hour.
With those terms, are you comfortable if after 10 hours of working, everybody's comfortable and she's not needed anymore?
I would be fine, absolutely, yeah. I'd be fine to just let her know, like, hey, thank you, we really appreciate everything you've done,
Sure.
Prepare for maybe a phone call or two.
Yeah, and I know she would be more than happy to answer Patrick's phone call.
Well, if they're both gonna be gone in July, you probably won't get too many calls.
Right. So that, I mean, like to your point, we should be well trained by
Either it's
that.
manager or it's not, either it's working or it's not, you know.
And all the assistant managers that applied this year, they said, we've been there when we've done that in the past, when Abby was the manager and she wasn't available, we dealt with it. So that at least put my mind at ease a little bit, I guess, saying that they said they'll figure it out, so.
So I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Are we all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, passes. Did you get the wording on that, Ash? Did you get the wording on that?
The wording?
Yeah, okay. Well, there was a lot going back and forth. I was, took me a while to write it down, so, all right, cool. All right, new ideas to implement for 2025.
So, I did something a little different this year with the assistant manager interviews, on top of, talking to them and seeing how they would do, or how they would adjust to being in a more authority figure, more responsibility. I actually asked their opinions on some things to see what we could do to change, to make things easier. I had brought up the concessions for parties. They all said, get rid of it. They said, even when people want concessions, it's rare that they even really utilize it. So I think we should make a motion to be done with concessions, allow folks to bring in pizza and soda on their own and keep it within that area, the eating area, but we don't hire or bring in staff to run the concessions.
During
Everyone
parties.
for parties, sorry.
Or is-
I should have clarified that, sorry.
No.
But, yeah, everyone I've talked to said it's not worth doing.
Okay. For parties. You're gonna have to make sure that everybody who's going to do this, bring their own food in. They don't bring any portable grills or anything like that.
Right.
Because somebody might say, oh, we can throw in some hot dogs and stuff ourselves, and that's like,
Do they have an online form or a paper form they have to fill out that we can just add that to it?
Yep, so Ashley, being as awesome as she is, gave me the form that fills out, so we'll have to remove the concessions off that form, and maybe just, put a snip in there saying, food is allowed within the concessions area.
Okay.
No glass, the obvious things, no
Mhm.
grills.
Mhm.
Are we lowering the rental cost then?
No, because there's an upcharge if you ask for concessions.
Okay. That's fair.
That's fair. I need a motion to stop the concessions for parties for the pool.
I'll make that motion that we stop concessions for parties.
Need a second?
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are we all in agreement? Say aye.
Aye.
All no? Nope, good. Passes.
The next thing on the list is opportunities for double rental of the weekends. We sell out or book up for our reservations on the weekend before we even open for the season. And I also talked to the new coming assistant managers about this. Usually, more often than not, they have more lifeguard staff there working. Sometimes they even have as many lifeguards as they do party goers. I want to make it an opportunity for us to make the pool available to more parties. For instance, if I wanted to rent the pool on a Saturday, I could say I want to rent the whole pool and no one else, or I could say I want to rent the pool but allow it open to another group if need be. Where we won't raise the cost of the pool, but the two groups could split the full cost of the pool. Now that kind of gets into, well, what if someone says they want to rent the pool but they want to open it to another group? What if that another group doesn't rent the pool? How do we charge for that?
Well, I think your base fee has to stay. The pool rental is what the pool rental is.
Right.
I think you have to, just because there's gonna be 7 more people there doesn't mean that the costs have gone down. So I don't know that you're giving them a break on their rental costs, maybe a small, adjustment down.
So can we is that something that we can make, they're aware that if someone rents it with you, you guys can split the cost, otherwise it's, the cost is the cost, right?
Right, and I think what you do is you're saying, okay, this is the total cost, which is higher. To rent by yourself, it's X amount.
Right.
If you rent half the pool, so to speak, then it's this amount. And that way we have, like you said, more people have an opportunity to get a pool party in. You and I have talked about spacing even.
Right.
We have capacity for 450 people. And when I've rented in the past, maybe 20 people at most at the pool, and it's kind of disappointing when you rent the pool and you get 20 people, but
Right.
I invited all the staff to come, and nobody wanted to come to my pool party, but,
It
You're
must have been
afraid.
before I started.
It was before you started. You would have brought the kids, sure.
What is our base rate for the parties?
It is $275, and that covers up to 25 swimmers, and it's $3 additional for each swimmer over 25.
Have we started renting it out yet for this?
No,
Okay.
Ashley has put a hold on that until after we get this figured out.
I know a couple people that'll be like, I don't want to share the pool, I want it for my family and friends only.
And that's fine,
Yeah.
you can rent it that way.
Yeah.
But I also wanna make it an opportunity for people who maybe don't wanna pay the $275, or they say, well, we only have 8 people, why not share it? 'Cause like I've gone to a
Mhm.
pool party at Dodge Center where it's obviously not near as big as our facility, and there, you know, we had maybe 15 people, and there was plenty of room for, you know, for more people to enjoy it.
But if it was up something like $275 to rent the whole pool, $175 to rent, and you may have a partner.
Is that something we wanna do?
I think that's a good idea. It'd be more income for us.
I'm just scared that could bite us in the butt, you know, not,
Do you feel like, how many people do you feel like were turning away last year?
It's hard to tell because the reservations were up online.
Sure.
So, I mean, by the time that the website was launched, pretty much every weekend was already booked. So,
And that was for single parties.
yeah, single parties,
There's
just on the weekend.
There's 2 parts to the pool, could we just have a specific rate based on what part of the pool you want?
But you know, the kids are all gonna want the same part of the pool.
Yeah.
Right, you know, the little kids anyway, they're gonna want to use the slide too.
Yeah.
I don't wanna, I want us to cautiously dive into this before we start getting to dividing it out. You know, I want this to be kind of a trial, and then we work on.
I mean, you know, worst case scenario, you're gonna lose some revenue. Right. I mean, you know, if you did something along, like, say you said $300 for the whole pool by yourself, but if you're not requiring exclusive, but like, on our schedule, it should be 2 slots. So that, you know, and then if they wanna book both slots, then that's fine, that's 300, and then if they don't, then it's 200. And, you know, maybe you'll get 2 groups paying 200. And if they both have 10 people, or 20 people even, it's not even gonna be a drop. I mean, we were at 7 lifeguards. I mean, I've been there when there's 7 people and 7 lifeguards.
Right.
I've been there
Not
for
a
that
good use
too.
of our resources, you know.
It's raining.
Well, right, if it's cold, like, I mean.
It was cold and
When I
rainy.
looked at it, it was August, you'd think August supposed to be hot, it was 65. You know, and then no one wants to go in the pool at 65, you know. I did because I paid for it, but, you know.
I'm curious, do we, is it possible to charge based off of party size? So like if there's like 2 people, do it by like, like, based off of the number of people? I don't wanna give a specific number, cause I don't know if it's gonna be too much or too little, but.
It's hard because you'll,
I mean, that's a tough one, because you look at someone who hosts a birthday party, they're basing it off their kids, right? And you're not necessarily basing it off of, well, how many, are both parents showing up, you know, or is there another kid involved that's coming?
Mhm.
I don't know if I understand where you're going with that. I don't know if I wanna get that nitty-gritty into, I think 25 swimmers gives you a good buffer zone as far as parents to children, and, yeah, I don't know if I wanna get into that part of it quite yet.
it's even, I've gone to parties there and 30 people show up and 6 swim, and then the next year the same 30 people show up and 10 swim. It all depends on the weather and what they wanna do.
I like the idea of having 2 lines on the sign-up sheet, though.
So 300 for both
So then
slots,
we-
200 for one,
We
seems
would
fair.
be increasing the fee $25, is what you're saying? Okay.
Well, I mean, you know how much revenue you lose on those. You know, when I first started, we were losing every time we had a pool party.
Right.
And even now, like, wages went up, right? So,
Do we have specific times set aside for those rentals?
9:30 to 11:30 on Saturdays and Sundays.
You think it would scare people off if we raised it to $325?
might encourage more people to do the partial, I don't know.
Partial.
I don't wanna, I'm kinda nervous about bringing it up too much and then adding this
Oh,
new.
Let's see, stay with 300, 200.
So, 175, and for half rental, 300 for the whole pool.
Okay. Yep. See how it goes, then maybe next year.
We
So
can do
what-
it. I told him, I thought I wanted to have 3 different spots, you know. for
Yeah, I remember you
parties,
talking
because,
about that.
I mean, I think you have the space for it,
Mhm.
right, you know, then you could charge less. You know,
Yeah.
and that'd be the trick is seeing what demand is, so maybe this year we can see what demand is.
Yeah.
If there's enough demand that we're getting lots of multiple groups, then that gives us the idea that we know what we can do, you know.
I just wanna, like, we've talked, I wanna try it out and see how we do, and then we can critique it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, next year.
We always get calls when people are like, oh, your pool's full, like, we wanted to go, we wanted to have a party, you know, so I mean, it'd be interesting to see what that real demand is.
That'd be nice.
We did that with the fun umbrellas, you know, we started renting out, chaining it off, renting out one, and then seeing how it goes, and it worked really well. And so I think we're to try it this way too, then, give it a try and see how it goes. If we end up to 3 next year, then, you know, that'd be great. See if we can do it, you know, see if it works like this even. Maybe it won't.
Tim's group signs up and so does mine. Tim's group wants concessions, I don't. How's that gonna work?
We're not doing
No
concessions.
concessions.
I thought we were gonna add that where you could pay a fee to have them.
No,
we
no,
just-
that was
oh,
in the
we
past.
just-
Oh, okay.
Concessions
Oh, that is gone.
Yep.
That part is gone too, okay.
Yep, so that was, you know, that was
Yeah.
part of my discussion with the
Mhm.
assistant managers, if we're to implement this.
Not
then we
even a,
need to
okay,
eliminate
that makes sense.
concessions.
I thought there could be I thought there was a
Yep.
checkbox to pay extra, okay.
No.
No, I'm good then, that's fine.
Someone wanna make a motion
Any
for that?
further discussion first? Are we set?
I think by adding 2 spots too, we're gonna have the data then by next year to, did we fill the 2 spots every weekend? If we did, then we could up it to 3.
Right.
If we didn't, then we've met the needs of our community for parties, and we just leave it at 2. So I don't think we wanna up it more than 1 slot
Right.
at a time. I'll make a motion that we, for our rental parties, private parties, that we charge $300 for, the use of the full pool and not sharing, and $200 if we have 2 parties there at the same time.
175.
Oh,
175.
175, I amend that too.
We have a motion, we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. No more discussion, is, all approve? Say aye. Disapprove? Pass, all right, thank you.
I gotta run off to another meeting, but thanks for your hard work, guys.
Bye, Tim.
The next thing is cancellation for parties. That was one thing that, when I spoke with Julia, was kind of an issue. As of now, we do a $50 non-refundable deposit. She had talked about people canceling less than 24 hours in advance. And obviously that's kind of an issue
Mhm.
for staffing, because then she's calling staffing, or by then they're showing up. I guess I don't know, do we want to raise that deposit? Doesn't necessarily have to be non-refundable, but
I think we should have $100 non-refundable.
Right.
That makes them accountable, you
as
know.
long as they
Yeah.
show up, you get your $100 back or
Right.
Yep.
whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Also, if they're canceling like less than 24 hours before, there should be like a bigger penalty for that too.
The only problem is, how do you go after someone for that, you know what I mean? If we already have their money, then we don't have to worry about it. I don't want us to have to go chase someone down and say, you owe us more money, 'cause you...
Right.
Are most of those
and-
cancellations due to the weather?
No, now, this is where I want to make sure we clear this up, because if it's due to weather or cold temperatures, I don't think that's fair to make it non-refundable $100.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I would, yeah.
But if
I'm
it's
for
like a
that.
nice sunny Saturday and someone just decides, well, their kid's sick or whatever,
Mhm.
well, that kinda, put us in a bad situation for other parties.
Who makes the decision on what, whether it's bad?
I was gonna say, we gotta have a temperature.
Right, so,
Any reason the pool would close is the reason that you could say that then.
right,
If you have a reason for not keeping the pool open during the day because of weather, the same rules apply.
okay.
The pool remains open if it's raining.
Because I've gone 2 years in a row where it's raining. My sister's like, I'm not giving them back the money I've already paid, I'm going. I mean, you do what you do. If the pool decided to close, then that's a different case.
Yes, okay.
But we swam through the rain.
And let's be honest, most kids will swim through the rain.
It's the parents that don't want to.
So, I mean, is that what we want to decide then? Change it to $100 non-refundable, and then make it, you know, that weather decision is based on whether the pool's...
Depending on
open or
whether,
not.
oh, yeah,
Maybe it's not a weather decision, but a safety decision.
Okay.
safety, yep, okay. Okay, do we, have a motion on that?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, a motion and a second?
I second.
Okay, motion and a second, any more discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Okay.
All opposed? The ayes have it.
Well, that's all I
Is
got.
that it on
for-
that one?
That's all I got for the pool.
Okay.
Other than, I will say, parts are in for the heater.
Okay.
It's just a matter of when their availability
Yep.
works, that they can come and start installing it. Now, that heater's obviously working, but we wanna make sure it doesn't fail, so we're just gonna
Yep. Mhm.
try to get ahead of the game.
All right, old business, park improvements.
So, I know last meeting, which seems like it was forever ago, we had talked about park improvements. I kinda talked to you guys about, you know, Northwest Park, pickleball courts. Christine had brought up the wheelchair swing. So right now, in my opinion, it's between the wheelchair swing and the pickleball courts. Are we moving forward with the wheelchair swing? I just want everyone's agreeance that what we're gonna move forward with for the next project.
Personally, I'd say the swing.
My vote.
Okay.
I would, because, you know, there's pickleball courts around, you know.
So
Maybe
that-
not here in
that-
Casson yet, but there's, you
That
know.
gets to my next topic, is Manorville is building 3 courts plus a warm-up area
Where?
up at Slingerland Park.
Oh,
And just so you guys know, it's being done by some guy who, so this is, when I talked to Joe, it's Friends of Manorville who raised the money for this. I don't know what the cost is, but I know the cost is very expensive because it's all concrete, it's all fenced in, it's got a warm-up area, and he paints the lines on where I painted the lines on our pickleball court, so I don't know what the cost is, I'm scared to even ask. I don't know when that project's gonna start, but that might alleviate some of that, you know, want here.
yeah.
And I'm not saying we don't move forward and get pickleball courts here, I think we should, but maybe this gives us an opportunity to focus on this swing project.
Swing project, yep.
Yeah. Now, I only have a couple copies, but I went back and printed off the all said and done cost for that swing, which is just shy of $100,000. Now, there's some costs in that swing that, you know, my crew can
You can
take
do.
care of. There's still some unanswered questions with the $23,000, I believe it is, for the port in place. I'm not certain that that's a necessary part of it. And I don't know, so it was, I think on that sheet it said it was like $14,000 for them to install it. I'm not sure if my crew is comfortable with installing a swing like that. It looks pretty intricate, as far as...
You mean the
putting it-
assembly of the swing
Yes,
itself?
and
Oh,
then
not the-
installing it.
Okay,
I think we can dig out the foundation, lay the base,
Sure.
do that stuff. Now, that's not a huge cost, but it's a cost.
mhm,
So I just want to share the price again with everyone. Which I also reached out to, is it Share? It's a community, darn it, I wish I would've brought the paper. It's a possibility for a grant.
okay.
I reached out, what was it?
SNCC, Southern Minnesota Initiative.
Yeah, something
Oh.
like that. Yeah. I don't know what it was. But I reached out to the gal who represents our area. She's looking into possible grants for us and what they would cover. I think it was like a 10% match, but she was gonna make sure that the swing could be part of that
Mhm.
grant
Okay.
opportunity. So, my next step will be to reach out to Sarah and talk to her about how can we maybe raise some money with your families that would be involved in this project. What can we do to raise money other than just try to apply for grants?
Mhm.
What kind of money do we have to spend on this, from the city?
Right now, nothing.
Looked like you were gonna say
It's
something.
the smallest number.
Yeah. I mean, until I start working on our budget for the 2026 season, I mean,
Mhm.
2025 was allocated towards the playground that will be going in at Northeast.
Maybe reach out to joint ventures.
I haven't yet I don't want to start reaching out to them until I have all my ducks in a row as far as where we're gonna be at, what kind of money we're gonna need.
Mhm.
But this is for sure, sorry to interrupt, this is for sure a project that's gonna benefit all three entities, as
Oh,
far
yeah.
as joint
Yep.
ventures go.
Yep.
Go ahead, sorry.
The wheelchair swing, is that something that we could do this year, or is that gonna be next year?
That would be probably the 2026 season, if it's a possibility.
Sorry.
Yep, no.
I know we're still talking about the swing, but did you talk to Tim about, possibility of adding pickleball courts in the empty lot the EDA has on Main Street?
Yeah, they won't fit.
It won't fit? Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
It would have been too tight to make them fit, and it kind of got down to, if we're not going to do it right, we're not going to do it
Yeah,
at
no,
all.
I agree. No, yeah. Just curious, I didn't know you guys had
Yep.
talked.
I can't remember, have we talked about reaching out to Mayo Clinic?
Yes, so I have that contact information. I think Tim sent it to me, or
I
unless you
did.
sent it out.
I think I sent it to you.
Okay, so I didn't want to do anything with it until I knew for a fact we're going to move forward, and I'm not sure if I'd be the right person or if, like, Sarah would be the right person to reach out. I want to make sure if we do it right. I kind of jumped into it right when we first started talking about it, a little bit too gung-ho, and got a little disappointed too quickly. Not really.
Sarah would be willing to.
I know she would,
Yeah.
and I just, like I said, I want to get everyone's, official approval, like, this is what we're gonna try to go for the next project.
Yeah.
This is what we see the need in the community is, and then we'll move forward
Mhm.
and start pushing hard.
I think the letter could be addressed to Mayo Clinic, saying that we would like to have funds raised by 2026, summer or spring or whatever, because then they can look at that long-term. I mean, a lot of companies will look at, a year in advance what they're gonna be contributing money to, and if we can get on that list, I don't think it would be a bad idea to do that, and we can always follow up with them if we don't hear back. I'd like to see Mayo Clinic help with something in this community.
That's all I got for that.
So you need a motion, or are you just gonna roll with the, let's just
I
roll
guess
with
it'd
it.
be maybe nice to have a motion saying like that's gonna be our next push for a project is the wheelchair swing.
Okay, I need a motion for our next project to be, the wheelchair swing.
I'll make that motion.
A motion, second?
I'll second.
Second, motion second. No more discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, good.
And lastly,
So-
we got KVM,
KVM
the Casson
update.
Veterans Memorial Update. We're chugging along. Our website's pretty much ready to go for the most part. It's not easily accessible quite yet. We have to link through Casson Laser Graphics to get to our website, but we're not live with our website quite yet. We do have a fundraiser opportunity in May. I think it's May, right?
May, yep.
Brett
Up at-
Keefe is going to host a golf tournament. It used to be the Legion one, and last year, excuse me, last year he did donate some of that money to our memorial fund.
Mhm.
So this year it will be strictly for KVM. And then we have someone helping us write a grant. The max that you can ask for, I believe, is just over 100,000.
It's like 110.
Yeah,
somewhere
and
around
that's what we're asking for. It's not a match grant, so we don't match any of that fund. We put a lot of effort into getting this, so.
I got a really good grant writer right now, so,
And I don't know, I think it's in April when they release the winners.
yeah.
So I think it was, the least you can can be awarded is up to, I think, 10,000, because they base it off that, I think.
Mhm.
So, hopefully we get something out of it, that would be a great.
Better than nothing,
Yeah.
you know, it's just,
Did you get from the Legion, any money?
we
I've
got,
gotten from the Legion
we've gotten 25,000
total.
total.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
We have a total of 39,000 after bills.
Is that grant the one that the state started this year?
Yep, the arts and,
Yep.
yep,
Mhm.
It sounded pretty competitive, yeah.
yeah.
And what's our total cost again that we're estimating?
So,
The goal is like about 300,000.
I think that's
250.
high as far as what the overall cost is. I think just for the granite, it was 109,000 for all the granite wall and the center
Pillar.
monument. Now, what we're not taking into account for is the concrete work, the footings, the landscaping, and I just pretty much, in my opinion, tacked on another 100,000 for that. Whether that's realistic or not, I'm not fair.
Isn't the city paying for that?
No.
No comment?
No. You know, and I'm not gonna assume this, but, you know, when people are working on stuff like this, sometimes they donate their own time or donate materials or donate.
Yep.
So, we can just, you know, we can budget it out, but if we come under that, that would just be wonderful.
I want to make sure we go into it thinking high and come
Yeah.
out getting good deals, you know?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if you talk to Sheldon, possibly he'd donate.
And
Yeah.
Sheldon's got the
Sheldon's.
plans, Wilker's got the plans, they both have interest in it. As far as what they're gonna do with that, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, it's kinda up to them. Like I said, I would love to make sure that we keep this as local as possible as far as who helps, who is the benefactor, you know. Olson Monuments, he's been nothing but great for me. He's been nothing but helpful in assisting us in, steps to take to try to get this project rolling, he will be our number one helper in this. Now, we're gonna pay full cost for the granite, but he helped in the Byron one, and he's
Mm-hmm.
about my number one asset in this project.
And we haven't really figured out how much we're gonna charge for the pavers yet, the names, so.
We got some
We
small
got some,
details.
we got some baby steps, but they're starting to get a little bit bigger.
It takes time to get it how you want it.
We really wanted to get the website up, so everybody, before we start, everybody's got something to go to and see what's going on.
Yeah,
with
we don't wanna
pictures
be
and things like
fielding
that.
phone calls left and right.
Yeah.
We
Mhm.
want questions answered on a website that people can
Yeah.
just look at.
Yep.
And I may be young, but I am finding out things that people prefer Venmo and prefer this, and I don't have any of that stuff, so.
Well, they tried to explain that to me at the last meeting, and I just said, give me a drink.
Venmo all
I
the
have
time.
no, I have no idea. So,
Oh, well, they can,
all right.
I think it's ridiculous.
they can't do that.
That's all I
Anyways,
got.
are you all you got? Any
Yep.
correspondence? No correspondence. A question was brought up about what is it? An assistant chair, co-chair?
Okay.
Anybody wanna just raise their hand and say, I will, or,
Probably wait until Greg gets back next meeting or something.
yeah, well, I suppose.
Wait till everyone's here.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's basically
I'll,
just to take place if you're absent.
Yeah. Yeah. And usually I don't really have that heavy a schedule, so I'm usually here, unless I'm on vacation. So if anything comes up, give me a
Cancel
holler.
if you're on vacation.
Yeah, cancel. Okay. But, well, if there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion to adjourn.
Motion and a second.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The next
Thank you.
meeting.
Oh, our next meeting. Good question.
18th? Third Tuesday, right?
18th. 18th. Should be February already.
Chuck, you gonna turn the video off?
Thanks.